Hey, good afternoon, Julie here. I'm so happy to be here to talk to you about this amazing topic of how journaling was able to help me heal my body from my chronic pain, my chronic fatigue, and my trauma. So before I get started, just wanted to quickly introduce myself. So I already said my name, but here it is again, Julie, helping women who suffer from burnout, autoimmune issues, chronic pain, chronic fatigue, and more heal their trauma so they can get out of survival mode and finally step into a life that their health is actually on point and it is no longer spiraling out of control. So I was one of those people that was very skeptical about how journaling was going to help me heal my body, my trauma, and all the things. Because I was suffering from severe chronic pain, chronic fatigue, migraines, nerve pain. I had 2 surgeries in under a year. It was a lot going on. And I was feeling helpless because I was seeing all the doctors. I was trying all the medications. I was doing the meeting with healing practitioners, doing Reiki and all the things, right? Meditating and grounding, and I was doing it all and nothing was working. So when journaling popped up, I was like, oh, here we go, another thing that everybody promises is going to work and isn't doing anything for me. But what I realized in my journey of trying to heal myself and stepping out of having Western medicine solve all my problems because I was putting all my faith in Western medicine and it wasn't helping me, was that I had to step out of skepticism and step into curiosity. And that was a game changer for me because I stopped being skeptical. I stopped being one of those people like, here we go again, another tactic that's not going to work, and da-da-da-da. And trust me, I had tried so many things to cure my chronic pain, the chronic fatigue, the numbness, the tingling, all the things that I was feeling that was getting in the way of me living a life of joy, a life of happiness, and just getting in the way of me remembering who I was, of the life that I lived before the health started to deteriorate. And it was a very scary moment, a very scary time in life where I felt so out of control. And as somebody who needs to be in control, I had to surrender and trust and step into curiosity of the fact that let's give this a try and see what happens. Let's give this a try and see what happens. And I dove into it 120%. And I was committed. And I did the work. And this is not like your regular type of journaling where you're just talking about your day-to-day frustrations and what happened and like a timekeeper diary. Absolutely not. It is not that. It goes way deeper. Because what happens with autoimmune issues, with chronic pain, chronic fatigue, migraines, fibroids, fibromyalgia, lupus, multiple sclerosis, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. Throughout the research that I dove deep into during my period of surrender and my period of, you know what, we're just gonna do the work and see what happens, is that it's a result of trauma that's in your body that has not been released. The body is a very magical thing, and it holds on to memory. Like I've always said, it's made of like at least 80% water, and water holds memory. And so it remembers every single thing that you've been through, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful. And so although your mind has forgotten about it, or maybe you disassociated from your body, or you blocked out the memories, or you've tried everything under the sun to not feel the things, the body will still remember it. And so when these emotions are trapped in the body and have nowhere to go and they don't release, they don't escape the body, they get stored in the tissue, they get stored in the fascia, they get stored in the cells, And that's how chronic pain, autoimmune issues happen, chronic illness, breast cancer, thyroid cancer, esophagus cancer. This is how these things manifest in the body. And with journaling, or the type of journaling that I've honed into, is unfiltered journaling, where you are journaling your honest truth. You are journaling your honest feelings and your honest emotions, those things that you don't dare tell anybody, those things that you're ashamed to say out loud, the things that come up that you bottle up inside and you don't speak about it, the thing that you've been wanting to say to that person, but you don't have the guts or the balls, or you want to keep the peace and you don't do it. And it unravels so much, and a lot of it, you go down a black hole that leads you down to your childhood, where all of the beginning of everything happens, that forms who you become as an adult. The way you protected yourself as a child is the way that you keep moving in adulthood through life, because our nervous system adapted to these ways that you used to protect yourself as a child, not knowing that now you're an adult and those things no longer work in order for you to heal. They're going to have you stuck in trauma. They're going to have you stuck in repeated cycles of chaos and toxicity. And so unfiltered journaling is a way that you get raw with yourself. It's a way that you bring up those emotions that you've been bottling up and pushing down for so long that you don't even want to face, and a lot of it you don't even remember. But it's dictating how you move throughout life now as an adult. It's the reason you lash out. It's the reason you overwork. It's the reason you overgive. It's the reason that you don't rest. It's the reason why you feel guilty doing anything for yourself. It's the reason why you accept being in a toxic relationship, even though you know you deserve better, but you don't even know how to step out of it. There's a reason why you stay in that job you hate. There's a reason why you keep saying yes to things you don't want to do. Hold on while I put this little one in her cage, because she's acting up. Come here. Come here, Opal. Because you don't know how to act. Okay, we're back. Oh God, her hair is everywhere. And through unfiltered journaling, we're back. And through unfiltered journaling, it allows you to get honest with your feelings. It allows you to bring up those emotions that you've been bottling up for so long. It allows you to tap in to the rawness and the depth of the feelings and the trauma that you've endured, so that again you can release it from the body. But it doesn't just stop with the unfiltered journaling. There's more to it, but right now this is the topic of the conversation, of how I help women who are dealing with burnout, women who are dealing with chronic pain, women who are dealing with autoimmune issues and chronic illness, heal themselves by healing their trauma and stepping out of survival mode, so they can finally step into a life filled with joy and rest and all the beautiful feminine things. Because you cannot live a life, a soft life, a life filled with joy, a life like, ooh, rainbows and butterflies, if you haven't tackled your trauma, if you haven't released all the fear and the shame and the anger that's stored in your body, of all the bad memories that are stored in your body. And I know that a lot of us have tried all the things. You know, we've tried the retreats, we've tried the readings, we've tried the, speaking, spending time at the altar, we've tried taking walks, we've tried grounding ourselves, we've tried saging, we've tried yoga, we've tried Pilates, we've tried like therapy, but we're still hurting And we're still walking around with this trauma that we don't know how to release. And it's manifesting in our body through pain, through autoimmune issues, through burnout, through chronic fatigue, through all the autoimmune diseases out there. It's manifesting through all of that. There's a reason why 80 to 90% of people with autoimmune issues and dealing with burnout, chronic pain, are women, because we are the givers. We are the ones who are there to serve everybody. We are the ones taking care of everybody, making sure everyone's okay, and we don't take care of ourselves. We run ourselves to the ground, and then we wonder why we're sick and why our body's breaking down. It's because the body can only hold on to so much. And if you think about it, the body has been with you since birth. So imagine all the memory that it's been holding on, depending on how old you are. I'm 48. For 48 years, it's been holding on to 48 years worth of memories from the time I was born till now. And if we don't release what is harming us, what is keeping us down, if we don't release those stored emotions and that trauma that is stuck in the body, what is happening to the body is it's overloading. It's overloading with all these emotions that there's no more room for anything else. And so what it does to protect itself is it starts to give out these signals of pain, of chronic fatigue, of thyroid issues, of hormone issues, of exhaustion, of numbness, of tingling, of all these symptoms that are happening in your body. It starts to do that to protect you. But the medicine lies in the tapping into the trauma, tapping into the emotions that you've been so afraid to release and to connect with. The fear, the shame, the anger, the rage. So many of us are walking around with so much rage. And we don't even know that it's rage. We don't even understand what it is. Like when I started doing my unfiltered journaling, I had no idea how much rage I had in my body. I didn't even know that I had rage in my body until I started to really uncover and excavate all of the emotions and feelings I was having. That I started crying, so I couldn't stop crying because all the memories kept flooding in, and I was filled with so much rage. And once I was able to release all of that, was when I started to feel better, was when the symptoms went away. And I hear a lot of women say to me, but how do I, how, this is not going to work for me. Like I've heard, it works for you, great, but it's not going to work for me. And that's when I tell people, stop living in skepticism and step into curiosity. Because that's the only way you are going to get out of your current state, is by taking action. And trust me, from someone who can be skeptical, like, yeah, whatever, that's not going to work for me. Journaling, like, really, journaling? But journaling, when you tap into that memory bank in your body of your past, of your childhood, of all the things you've been wanting to say that you never got to say to anybody because out of respect and other things, so we bottle all of that up. And we learn to become, as an adult, somebody who doesn't speak their truth. And all of a sudden, now we're having thyroid issues and throat issues. And it's the way that the body starts to manifest what's going on inside through physical symptoms. And I know people who have tried things, like, trust me, I'm in therapy, right? I've been in therapy for forever. It's been like over 20 years. And I will never stop going to therapy. Right? Therapy makes you aware. It brings you this awareness, right? It allows you to see why you do things that you do so you could do differently. Right? It taps into that of like, that's why I do that. that's why I do what I do. That makes sense because of this that happened when I was younger, and that and that and this. And it's great. Okay, but what are we going to do with those feelings? What are we going to do with those emotions? It's great to be aware of things because, yes, it allows you to change trajectory and to do things differently. But what are we going to do to heal that little girl that was feeling that way years ago when she was a kid? That is still projecting now through you as an adult because that little child didn't have a chance to voice her opinion. She didn't have a chance to express herself. She didn't have a chance to tell you how afraid she was, how angry she was, how fearful it was to be you at that age. She didn't have a chance to release all those emotions, and so those emotions stayed inside of her, and you grew up to be an adult, but those emotions stayed inside. And it's how triggers happen, because triggers basically take you back in time and remind you of something that was unresolved that happened in your past, which is how we get triggered as adults. It awakens your inner child. Your inner child wakes up and it's like, hold on a second, you said what? And you spaz out. And then once you're calm, cool, and collected, you're like, why did I react like that? And it's like, that wasn't you. It was 5-year-old you who took over. But how do we release all this anger, this shame, the fear, the sadness? It's by tapping into those emotions, getting raw with them, allowing them to surface, and then releasing them. And it's the work that I do with my clients one-on-one. And it is hard ass work. It's work that takes vulnerability. It's work that takes surrendering. And it's work that takes consistency in a safe space with someone who has been through it and who's able to walk you through it safely, where your nervous system is not firing out of control because it's like, what's going on? I don't want to feel these things. I don't know. This feels very unsafe. No. This is too much. Guide you through it safely so that you could go down that road. You could go through that tunnel and see the light at the end of it and finally go through it and get on the other side where you feel lighter. You're no longer having symptoms in your body. The autoimmune symptoms go away. The chronic pain goes away. The burnout goes away. The chronic fatigue goes away. All the symptoms that come along with your autoimmune issues gone. Because now you've emptied your reservoir, you've emptied the cup of your body, and there's nothing, all those emotions have been released, and now you're starting from an empty cup again, able to now live through life without the weight of those heavy emotions. And now your body's no longer on fire and reacting through physical symptoms because the emotions are gone. So when I say, just looking at my notes, so when I say unfiltered journaling, it's not journaling where you're like, oh, I had a fucked up day, oh my God, it was so stressful. Like, that may be how you start your journaling, but that's not where you stay. You go deeper. There's healing as you go deeper. In the depth of your emotions is where the healing lies. And you confront the fears, you confront the anger, you confront the shame, you confront the sadness, you confront the abandonment, you confront all those things that have taken you to where you are today, where you're feeling like your body's breaking down on you. Unfiltered journaling allows you to go to the depth of your feelings, to feel the anger, the shame, the fear, the abandonment, all the things that you felt that took you to where you are now, which is why you react the way that you react as an adult. Why when somebody ignores you, it triggers you, because of X, Y, and Z that happened to you as a child. And because the body stores everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, it remembers all of that. And because you haven't tapped into those emotions and the, you know, the fear, the sadness, the shame, the rage, the all of that, it's bottled up inside of you. And it's attached to your cells. It's attached to the tissue in the body, the fascia in your body. And because it has nowhere to go, it starts to manifest as symptoms, which is why you're in pain, which is why you're exhausted, which is why, you know, there's a lack of energy and you have brain fog and you're feeling all the pain in your body. You're having the migraines. But the unfiltered journaling allows you to tap into those emotions you've been avoiding since you were so little, and allows you to finally release them. And when you finally release these emotions that have been stored in your body for years is when the symptoms go away and your health no longer declines. And now you start to feel better. Now you start to feel like your old self again. You're no longer feeling, you know, the migraines or the exhaustion, the burnout, the brain fog, you know, the pain in your body, the tingling, the numbness, and everything else that comes along with these autoimmune issues, the fibroids, the cysts, the PCOS, the endometriosis, some of us, the cancer. Because what's happening is you've been avoiding these emotions for so long that, again, they get stuck in the body. They attach themselves to the tissues in your body, the cells in your body, the fascia in your body, and it manifests into these issues that you're now having with your health. And this is the reason why, you know, people say, I've tried the meditations, I've tried yoga, I've tried Reiki, I've tried fasting, I've tried medication, I've tried surgeries, I've tried grounding, I've tried everything, and nothing is working. Is because these things are not tapping in. They're not going deep enough for you to excavate these feelings that you've been bottling up for so long that are causing all your health issues. It's not allowing you to tap into them and release them. And unfiltered journaling does that because it allows you to get real with yourself and raw with yourself and say the things that you've been wanting to say, put that on paper, but you haven't been able to even say it out loud because you're ashamed that you feel that way. Like, one of the things I remember journaling about that I always felt guilty about, but it's how I felt because I was so overwhelmed and so burnt out, was like, I hate being a mom. Like, I wish sometimes that I didn't have any kids because I'm just so tapped out. And these are things that I would never say to anybody out of shame, out of being judged by somebody. But it's how I was feeling because I was so overwhelmed. Especially, you know, with, you know, so many women having fertility issues. Like, how dare I come out of my face and say something like that? But it's how I was feeling. It was my true raw emotions at the time. Do I love my kids? Absolutely. Do I want them gone? Absolutely not. But in the moment, I was so overwhelmed and so burnt out and so needing rest and just so, like, at capacity. I was so tapped out that I had no room for anything else. But all I hear is mommy, 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 mommy. And I'm like, oh my God. And these are things that a lot of us don't talk about because we fear that we're going to get judged, or we feel guilty even saying it. And you're like, you know what? I'm just going to keep that to myself. And then you go even deeper. Okay, why are you burnt out? Why do you feel so exhausted? Because I feel alone. Why do you feel alone? Because of X, Y, Z. Oh, I wish my husband would do this. I wish he would help with this. I wish. So you start to get even deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into why you feel the way that you feel. And you get so deep into it that you start to connect the dots of how you've made the choices you've made in your adult life because of things that happened to you as a child. And the thing that a lot of us don't understand is there's so much healing and tapping into our inner child and allowing them to say all the things they've been wanting to say, to give them a voice, to allow them to throw a temper tantrum, to allow them to scream, to allow them to be angry. Because there's a lot of talk about, you know, giving your inner child what she needed when she was little, buying her that doll that you never got, or I don't know, having a peaceful home because you never experienced peace as a kid, whatever it may be. And that's great, and I am all for that. But we also have to give room and give space for that inner child to throw a temper tantrum, to be angry, to be sad, to let you know exactly how it felt to be her when she was little, without any filter, without you coddling her, without you telling her it's going to be okay and I turned out fine, don't worry about it. No, she needs to express herself. She's been dying to get it out. And believe it or not, this is the reason why your health is spiraling out of control, because of all these stored feelings and emotions and trauma in your body. And once those things are released through unfiltered journaling is when you start to heal. Is when you start to get your life back and you feel like yourself again. So if you're interested in doing this work together, if you're dealing with burnout, autoimmune issues, chronic disease, chronic fatigue, any of the things that I mentioned in the past, migraines and all the things, and you feel like your health is spiraling out of control, you don't even recognize yourself, and you're ready to heal your trauma and step out of survival mode so that you can heal your body and heal yourself and return to the person you were before your health deteriorated, click the link in my bio to work together. If you're watching this on YouTube, the link is in the description box. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a DM. I have a couple of spots open to work one-on-one for the month, and I cannot wait to talk to you, and I can't wait to see you in the next live. All right, take care. Bye.